Hi, this is Mr. RB. Today I wanted to show you how to use sighting and measuring to draw a fairly flat object and make a highly realistic drawing of it. I'm going to start by tracing the card that this plastic dragonfly is on. Because I'm tracing, I can figure that my drawing of the card is pretty accurately proportioned. That is to say, the sides are the right length compared to the top and bottom. And when I remove it, yes, they do look the same. I'm going to use some tracing and some measuring and sighting to get the right shapes, sizes, and placement for all the parts of the dragonfly. First, I want to figure out where the head is. I'm going to put my pencil right over here by the head. I'm going to just slightly lift it up, move the card to the side, and make a little dot where the head is. I'm going to replace it using the square that I traced, and I want to put the pencil at the joint between the head and the thorax. I lift the pencil up a little, I move it to the side, and I put my pencil back down. Notice that the knuckles of my hand are anchored to the paper. That's to keep my hand from moving and getting distortions. I now want to figure out how far over the sides are. I put my pencil right by the side of the dragonfly's head. I move the specimen to the side, make a little dot. I'm going to go back and get the fourth dot for what I need. I put my pencil on the other side of the dragonfly's head, move the card out of the way, and make my little dot. I now need to look at the dragonfly's head and decide, is it mostly a triangle, mostly a circle, mostly an oval, or mostly some sort of rectangle? I'm going to go with a oval, and I'm going to say that it is a short, wide oval. So I know that I need to make an oval that connects these four dots. If I've measured and placed correctly, then the head should be approximately there. And if I've judged what the basic shape is, in this case basically a short oval, then it should be similar to that design right there. Let's now move on to the thorax. I know that the thorax starts here because I already measured that. Where does it end? These wings are transparent, so I can see that it ends just about over here. I'm going to hold my pencil right over where it ends, move it to the side, and make a dot. I want to find out how wide it is. I'm going to hold it over where I can see the legs attaching to the thorax. I'm going to lift my pencil up just a little, set that aside, put it back down, and make my dot. Again, notice that my knuckles are anchored to the paper so that I don't move my hand, causing distortions. I'm going to go over to the other side. It's right about there. I lift up, move that to the side, I go down, and make a little dot. Now the question is again, is the thorax mostly a circle, an oval, a triangle, or a rectangle? And I'm going to go with an oval once again, but now I'm going to say it's a tall, more narrow oval, and it should connect these 4 points. These are approximate shapes. I'm using very basic shapes. Later, I can get more specific. First, I want to know about where each part of the dragonfly is, about how big that part is, and finally, approximately what shape. I'm going to continue on now. I'm going to go looking at the segments of the tail. And the Dragonfly has all these different segments, so I'm going to do each one separately. I can figure out approximately where the end of that is by going all the way down to the tip of the tail, moving that to the side, and saying, it's probably going to go somewhere down to about there. Let's go back and do the first segment. I'm going to put my pencil right on the edge between that first segment and the second one. Move that to the side, make a little dot. I need to find out how wide it is. I'm going to put it above where I can see the side of that segment at the top. I want to know how wide it is at the bottom. It looks like it's narrowing in as it goes down, but I want to check exactly how far in it goes. So I'm going to measure the side there. And I get the other side as well. I now want to connect these. To my mind, I would call this one a triangle with the bottom cut off. So it's going to be round over here, and it's going to come down in approximately like that. If it was a true triangle, it would continue on to a point, but it does not. Next, I'm going to continue on to the next segment in the tail. And there's a bunch of segments on this tail, so it can take a while. If you're getting the idea of how I'm doing this, you are welcome to skip ahead a little bit in the video, but I'll continue on step by step just to make sure that what I'm doing seems clear enough for the viewing audience. Again, I'm going down to the next segment on the tail, and I want to get to the side. I did the right side, I'm now doing the left side. I want to connect those. I put it back on. And I'm ready to work on the third segment. 1, 2, 3. Where's the bottom? By checking each part, it keeps me from getting distracted or getting swayed by my expectations. I may think that the tail is going out straight, for instance, and it really isn't. I might not notice that at first. As I draw and I'm looking so very closely at this small object, I start to notice details and bits of shape and line that I really didn't notice when I looked closely, when I looked at initially. On my fifth one, this is a very methodical way of drawing. I think that for some people it can seem really tedious, but once you start doing it, I find it very calming. Makes it a little hard to talk sometimes. The talking part of my brain and the drawing part of my brain don't always work well at the same time. Notice I'm counting down because there's so many segments. I'm afraid I'll get lost and get confused. I'm on the seventh one now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want to get the two sides. I did the right side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to do the left side. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I am almost at the end. And you can see there's the dot for the end of the tail, so I'm doing okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. ninth one. The tail is fairly well sketched in. I want to get the either the legs or the wings next. In this case, the wings are fairly transparent, so I can see the legs pretty well. I'm going to start with this leg up here. I'm going to just figure out where the tip of that little foot is. I'm just holding my pencil right at the foot. I move my model to the side, and I press down. Notice I'm not giving myself too many dots at a time. That's because a whole lot of dots on the paper gets very confusing. I'm going to start the leg. They're so skinny, I'm just going to start it as a line. Then I'll come back and make it into more of a shape. From the wrist, or that joint at the end, I'm going to go up to the next joint. I don't know if we call it an elbow on a plastic dragonfly, but on a person, on a human, we would. And then finally, I want to get the joint where it connects, where it looks like it connects to the body. And I see that bite about over there, so I'm going to go in a little. I'm going to figure that they're so narrow, I'm just going to give it a little width. Follow the 3 segments down, 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to go back and draw the next joint. Again, I start at the end of the toe or foot. Just check to make sure that I'm not missing a joint or change of direction. You can always give yourself extra dots if it helps, especially if you're having trouble getting, say, the precise shape of an oval. Give yourself a few extra dots and it can guide your hand as you're drawing it in. I have one more leg to go. On this side, I get the tip. I'll get the next joint. I'll get a little bit over here. And I want to make sure I get precisely where it connects up with. That wasn't working out too well. I'm going to go back and check I get the right location for where it's connecting to the body. As I do this, I start to see better and better. That is to say, more and more accurately. The more I do this, I find more quickly my estimations and judgments come, as well as the more accurately. After a while, I can move much faster than I would have at first. I think like anything, the more we practice it, we tend to get better at it. It comes more easily. At first, it can seem very awkward. But no matter how awkward it is, our goal is to become less awkward. Notice the legs attached to the thorax, not to the head and not to the tail or abdomen. Add those lines to connect. And I'm going to give it just a little thickness and then follow that line down through the joints. I have the first leg on the left side. I know this takes a little while. Again, like I said, if you've been watching this a couple times or if you've already done this before, if you're getting the idea quickly, you could skip ahead. I want to get each measurement just right, and that's why I am taking my time. There are artists who work quickly and intuitively. There are artists who work more methodically and with more measuring. I would say that however fast or intuitively you work, having a good grounding in observing, having a good grounding in looking for details and being sensitive and observant of small shifts and changes in shape or line will better inform the more intuitive or quicker drawing that you might do. So if you love to draw quickly and intuitively, every now and then slow down and do a very slow drawing. I think you'll find that it starts to feed back into your quicker drawings in very positive ways. I want to get those eyes, those blue sort of eyes on this plastic model. I want to just figure out where they are exactly. Where's the center? It's about there. And I know that it's going to go from top to bottom, so I'll just sketch it in. I want to figure out where the middle is. It's sort of an oval from my perspective, so I still want to get the wings in there. For the wings, I'm going to give myself more dots. I certainly want to get the tip of the wing. And I want to get any place where it changes form. Anytime there's a turn to the left, to the right, up, down, I definitely want to get that noted. And that'll be true no matter what I'm drawing. The more irregular the shapes are, the more little dots I might get. If I was drawing something that I could not trace the way I am this, in other words, where I couldn't simply move it aside and make a dot below, I'd want to make sure that I've had a good sense of where each shape started and ended. Notice I should have the same distance between the plastic wing and the edge of the card as I do between the pencil wing and the edge of the pencil card. I'm almost done, really. I'm just putting all those dots to guide my hand. At that point, it's just a very sort of upscale, sophisticated version of connect the dots. I just have to be the one who makes the dots first. If I make my dots well, connecting the dots is not a problem. If I rush, or I don't put them down accurately or sensitively, then I can't connect them and end up with the shapes that I really need. Notice the wings sort of overlap each other. When I look at the plastic model, I see they do overlap as well, so yay, my drawing is consistent with what I'm seeing in my little plastic nature. Why do I use these plastic bugs? They don't move, they don't crumple. Sometimes using real bug specimens could be just a little icky for some people, whereas this really is just a piece of plastic. I like the bugs though because they're fairly flat, so I think when we're starting out, for starting out with sighting and measuring, it's kind of nice that you can sort of put the pencil right where you need it, move it aside, make your dot, and give yourself sort of a trail of dots to follow. As we start to train our minds to work in the way we need them to for making all those judgments and assessments and evaluations of exactly what a shape looks like and how big it is and how it compares to everything else. Well, I am almost there. There's not a whole lot left to draw. At this point, I have the details fairly well sketched out in a general sense. It's time to look at the original and think, how do I move from more generalized forms to whatever extent I need to more specific forms. There's certain details I haven't maybe made as clear in the drawing, but I can start to change that and notice, oh, you know, here maybe I made a perfect oval and actually there's a little split right over here between the eyes. There's a little groove. So I can note that and go up. And little changes that are happening. On our plastic model, the details are simplified. But like I said, these plastic models last for years and years. I've worked with lots of students with them, and they sort of held up pretty well. So everything has its purposes. Anyhow, that's about what I can show you for this. Remember, you can always slow down the video in replaying to see what I'm doing more slowly, and you can skip ahead or go back as you need to. Hope this helps. Bye, everybody.